Listen, today we got one of the greatest guests of all time. He's literally has, I would say, in the most politest way, rebranded the UFC in a way when he was on top to what it is today with rivalries, with the attitude, kind of like the attitude era of WWF, but for UFC. He brought a whole new edge to the game. Someone I personally loved watching, still do. One of our most requested guests of all time, Rampage Jackson. For 1 year, we've been trying to get him on the podcast.
Man, you've been bugging him.
I've been bugging him. Ladies and gentlemen, Cody No Love Garbrandt.
Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, like I said, you're bugging me. It was sold on when you put the group chat and said it was Rampage. I was like, oh, I'll get my flights right now. It was Vincent over here acting like Rampage. Still took it like 6 months, but we got it.
Do you know what we did? Bro, for 1 year, I was bugging him to get him on the podcast because you want the best guests and people at home don't understand. I got to stay up all night messaging everybody. He's in training camp, super polite, super kind. And I'm like, yo, we gotta get you on the podcast. He's like, I'm a little busy, I'm fighting. I'm like, all right, in between fights. He goes, it don't work like that. I go, all right, sorry, champ. I'm like, we got to get you on. 1 year, bugging him. I go, you know what? The best way to do this, Vinny, our co-producer over there, I go, Vinny, you're going to pretend to be Rampage. I'm going to group chat you with Cody and just be like, sup, and don't say anything else, and we'll get him on. And it worked.
Vinny impersonated me? Yeah. What the? Hey, I hate group chats. I hate the group text. I hate that shit.
Bro, he's a legend, and he's the most requested guest, so I'm glad he came on the podcast.
But for a while, you stopped texting, so I thought it was Rampage. Like, hey, man, you want to come on? I'm like, let me get some dates. I have my son. So, like, going back and forth. I'm like, I have my son this week. This doesn't work. And then here we are Sunday.
Bro, that's a dirty trick, man.
Yeah, that's amazing.
No, but because I'm sure Vinny don't text like me.
No, we did. We got one of those. Vinny,
AI?
Show him the app. We have one. It's an AI app. So all the voice memos are, hey, it's Rampage.
He's full of shit. He didn't see no voice memos. No. I can't believe shit he said.
That was good though.
No, but at the end of the day, people want to hear from some of the best to ever do it. People want to hear from champions, and this podcast is about giving a platform to some of the best fighters the UFC has ever seen, and you're for sure one of them. What you've done for the game and how you still continue to do it, incredible. So I'm glad we can kind of get this conversation going.
Sure, definitely.
Off the break, I think one of the most talked about topics, and I kind of just want to get it out the way, was we have one of our co-hosts, co-hosts, TJ Dillashaw. He's always on the podcast. And you guys set one of the greatest rivalries the UFC has ever seen, from the talking to the fighting to the way you guys built up the fight. But you brought, like I said, this new edge, like this attitude, this excitement again. We haven't seen excitement like that since maybe Chuck Liddell and Tito, or maybe when Rampage beat Vanderlei. And, we didn't see a lot of those kind of, what do we call these nowadays? Like rivalries in a way. I understand it's a fixed fight. It's not like you guys are fighting in a bar, but it's a true rivalry, And I kind of want to just break it down how it even started.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unravel with this, TJ and I were former teammates. He ended up leaving the gym, going a separate way. I always was like, hey, he had Dwayne, so he followed Dwayne to Colorado, did his thing. They had a team out there. It was never in my mind that we, would have that kind of rivalry. I was like, maybe we'll fight. He's tough, he's skilled, he works hard, a very talented fighter. And then it came into, I think, the team, the drama with everything. Me being 25 years old, world champion, couldn't tell me anything, you know what I mean? Couldn't tell me anything at that point in time, So for me to have that fight with TJ, I knew what I was up against, knew, the training, what I had to get ready for, just becoming the world champion in the same calendar year. My whole life changed. I went from unranked to world champion the same year. I was literally borrowing money off my adopted father for our dinners at the before the fight. Where I was like, oh, okay, I don't have to fight, check the check. I don't have to fight, fight the fight, live, fight the fight. And, world champion and all other things, with WME coming in, the movie deals, all these other stuff that were thrown at me that I didn't necessarily care for. I just wanted to fight. That's what that's what I love to do. It was never motivated by money, because I never had money. It was to be the best. That's what saved me in my life, was the light at the end of the tunnel was being a world champion, for me, especially doing it at 25 was pretty amazing. I got signed to the UFC at 23, and then with the whole TJ situation, I looked up to TJ. I thought he was he was one of those guys that trained hard, always in the gym, always working hard, and then the split, and then I think the big drawn out dramatic stuff was the teammates and how it was and how it went, how all it happened. And it was the Ultimate Fighter with Connor coming out and saying that, and we really didn't know, the big scheme of what was going on with TJ, and because he was telling us that he's still on the team, this and that. Like I said, like he had that relationship with Dwayne. That's your head coach, that's your coach. They trained all the time together. That was what he did. He felt good with them. Dwayne went back home to Colorado with his family. You can't blame a guy for that. I just moved to Vegas because my son moved there. I had to leave my team. It sucks. I miss Team Alpha Male so much. It's a good brotherhood, good just training facility up there, good just program. I went there at 1-0. I was 1-0. I had a year off. I broke my hand. I had some vertigo problems in 2012. I'm like, why am I wasting this? Not wasting this time. I want to see how good I am. So I'm going to go out to Team Alpha Male. They had the best flyweights, bantamweights, featherweights. I mean, it was stacked when I went out there. It was, Chad Mendez, Uriah was at the top. TJ was getting his shot. Joe Benavidez, Danny Castillo, Holdsworth. I mean, the list goes on and on. Andre Feely, Palmer was out there. I mean, it was every day. You was like kind of like a survival, like to make it through the camps and being in there. So just being around those guys was phenomenal, and just having that brotherhood. So I think how close we were, and to see how everyone kind of just drifted away and took sides when TJ left, and then like I was getting ready to fight TJ. So it was a weird position to be in. You know what I mean? I have no animosity towards TJ, and then we fought twice. He bested me in 2 fights, but won't throw any shade right there because it's in the past. But I'm still here in the UFC, still trying to get back to the top. Fighting's a crazy career. Life itself, but then you throw this into it.
Yeah.
As Rampage can say, especially when you tasted being a world champion, all you want to do is think about that instead of like being engaged in right now. I was always, when I lost the title, it was like, oh, get this fight back, you're fighting for the title. Instead of it's like, hey, look what's in front of you. Look, be engaged in the now. So it was just getting back to that. So I think that's why it was just a big rivalry, and especially it was no bantamweights, lower weights had kind of a big rivalry like that. It was always, heavyweights, lightweights, So I think that we pushed the needle a lot with that. And then obviously doing the Ultimate Fighter, I already knew what that situation was going to be. But, Dana promised me a G65 G-Wagon. So I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. So, it was just a fast-paced life after having the title to going and doing so many other things. And then obviously getting injured. I was out for almost a whole year before I fought TJ. We had to keep postponing the fight. Flew to Germany, had some procedures in Vegas and LA, ended up tearing my back. So that whole thing, for me, I just wanted to defend my title. I didn't want to have the division held up. And, obviously, the division was rising and growing so much with such good talent that, as a champion, you want to defend your title, and see how good you are. So I think combination of everything made it just a huge rivalry when TJ fought.
How was it training with him before he split? You guys used to spar with each other and everything?
That's the thing. I think that I just said this, I think I was talking to Aljo last week, and I was like, I wish, he would best me in training, because then I'd be more fearful of him. I didn't have any kind of chip on my shoulder, oh, this dude can't hurt me, because I, things I did in training, and I know it's training, we're talking about practice.
Right.
I thought I would, to where it was like, if he kicked my ass in practice a lot, I would have probably been like, hey, this guy's pretty dangerous. Not that he wasn't. TJ's a killer. He's very skilled, loves to fight. But I didn't have that kind of fear, you could say. So a lot of times I went in that fight fearful, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. What's going to happen, what can happen. So he was a good training partner, he's always there, battling for takedowns. I remember we were in Joe Soto came up one time, and we were in a round robin wrestling. I had taken Joe down, and then him and TJ went, and it was 30 minutes. I'm just trying to get back in the mix, but it was takedown wins, the winner stays in, kind of king of the mat. And those two dudes wrestled for 30 minutes straight before.
That's a long damn time.
A long damn time. Yeah, this is after practice, we're all waiting. I'm waiting to get in there. Whoever gets us taken down, kept going in stalemates. And so he's kind of one of those guys that's always, even in strength and conditioning too, just pushing the pace. Like I said, he was a great training partner to have, as far as pushing you to that next level of hey, it's a competition. If you're lifting this, he's lifting more. He wants to, keep doing that. So I had a lot of respect for him in that way. little dirty of a training partner at times, but you know, he's competitive. You know, he's wanting to win at all cost.
Yeah.
You guys ever hang out outside of training back in the day before the split?
Honestly, no, not really. You know, it was just he had his wife and his family there, and I was 23, so it was like I was doing my own thing. You know, and we did. Uriah was great with having like team bonding, like stuff. You know, dinners and at his house. So campouts or not campouts, sorry.
Cookouts?
Yeah. Fucking campouts. Our buddy Carlino had a house on the river, so we'd always go there, and Faber would bring his pontoon, and usually it would get hauled back by another boat because it'd break down, but we'd have a blast, you know, we'd have a blast on the Sac River together. But yeah, not too much. I never really hung out with him outside of just training and stuff.
If you guys had a cookout now, would Bear be invited to the cookout?
Yeah, he'd be the griller. He'd be grilling those hot dogs up.
I got the glizzies going crazy.
I believe that.
Don't play with me. Don't play with me, Rampage. This guy don't eat till 5 p.m. every day, so he wouldn't know what a cookout feels like anymore.
Yeah, man.
You still fasting?
Yeah, I still fast.
Yeah, man, you look in good shape.
Thank you, bro. I fucked up last night, though. I'm not going to lie, because yesterday I was at a party, and they had Raising Cane's, and I normally don't eat that. I don't eat fast food no more. But I fast, right? So I was starving, so I ate a little bit, but I didn't eat enough. When you eat once a day, you got to eat a lot of calories, right? So I went out to a bar and club. Then on my way home, I'm like, man, I'm starving. So I stopped by Del Taco.
Oh, shit.
I ate fast food twice yesterday. God damn. Horrible.
Del Taco's, I mean, I grew up eating Del Taco, but it's so bad for you.
Really?
Fast food's horrible for
I
you.
got a chicken burrito. That was the first fast food I ever had when I moved to California.
Del Taco?
Del Taco.
Yeah. Del Taco's a staple. If you live in SoCal, that's a staple.
I had never heard of it before.
Del Taco?
Until
I don't
I
even know.
moved here.
They don't have them in Memphis?
No, we don't got that shit.
What about you? How's your diet? How's your training?
Eat
Feel
pretty
good?
clean. Yeah, eat pretty clean. I got, Charles Stoll at the UFC Performance Institute. He's a dietitian, so he writes out. For me, it's the problem of eating enough food to keep my weight up. Sometimes in camp it drops down, and I'm at like 3,200 calories a day. That's tough for me to eat and train, to keep it up, 2-3 sessions a day. So for me, it's keeping the weight on.
Yeah.
I'm lifting heavy as well with Gavin Pratt. He's the head UFC, oversees all the strength and conditioning. So this phase, we're just coming out of this phase now. So we were doing like hypertrophy muscles. So heavy lifting. Now we're going into like, fight camp. So I'm less than 8 weeks out now from the fight that they just announced. I'm like, just found out.
So they announced a fight this morning that you're going to be fighting. Did you know about this, or because we were driving here and then they announced it right when we were in the car?
Right, yeah. I saw it on the UFC Instagram, but
that's crazy.
I knew about it. Knew that we were supposed to fight October 12th, and then it got pushed to November 9th. Still going through some things with the UFC. This is my last fight in the contract, so gotta get together with them and see what we can come up with.
You gonna resign?
I love to, man. I love the UFC. I think especially where the sport's going. I love mixed martial arts. Obviously, UFC is the premier league to fight in there. But, money talks.
Yeah, I feel you. What would you do when you retire from fighting? What would your next move be, you think?
I really haven't put too much thought. I mean, a little bit of thought into it. I try to not stay, focused on one thing. But, man, I'm in the sport for so long. Wrestled my whole life, boxed, did MMA. It'd be some kind of, in that realm, maybe a gym. I don't know if I could be a coach and deal with a lot of the fighters because a lot of the fighters are pretty crazy. So maybe have a gym, maybe getting some management.
Hear me out. I hope you don't get offended, but hear me out. I think you need to start a biker gang.
Biker gang? A biker gang. We got a little club in Ohio Gorillas. So
why a biker gang?
Club.
Look at him. Look, it look cool. I couldn't pull that off, but look at him. I promise you.
What do you want me to specifically look at?
Look at him.
Is he talking about
Just say it. You're talking about the Excalibur over his eye?
He looks, bro,
is that what you're talking about?
He looked like a leader of a biker gang, bro. You can do movies.
There's an elephant in the room. Do you want to address it?
There we go.
I'm saying it right now.
Why don't you just say it?
I'm saying it right now.
No, but say it like to all of us.
I'm saying okay. I'm saying why I'm saying it. When I got into fighting, I knew that I wasn't going to retire at 60 years old. So I was always looking for what's my next move. And I like entertaining people. So even coming to UFC when I was in Pride, I had already known, like, man, I want to go into do something else, acting, TV, whatever. So I asked a lot of fighters that, what's your next move? Sometimes people don't think about it, but
Yeah, I mean, it's in the back of my mind. Like I said, you can't fight forever. 33 now.
You're young,
you're in
bro.
great shape.
Well,
Yeah.
I still feel good.
You look
I
great.
still feel great. I wake up every day excited to go train. And that's why I tell people, like, when do you think it's going to be done? When I don't have that excitement to get up and go put myself through those camps and, it's you. It's you getting up every day and going through that grind, that daily grind, being in martial arts. If I can't have 2 feet in, I don't want it.
It's not the fights. It's the camps.
It's the camps, yeah. And I think as we get older and more mature, and actually the sport too, like back in the day, the training was different, like we're sparring whoever shows up at the gym. Could be a heavyweight, sparring Stipe, what?
For real?
I mean, we light spar, but, sometimes it was 70, 85 pounders when I was in Cleveland training with Marcus Marinelli, the strong style guys.
Wow.
And it wasn't many guys that are around our weight. So whoever showed up at the gym is who you're working with.
I didn't think about that. The little guys.
Yeah. Never been little, dog.
Whoa. I told you this, brother. This guy's a world champion.
What?
You can't call him a little
I'm a heavyweight.
He's heavyweight.
Yeah, but you can't call him little guy.
The big guys, we do.
We
call
could
them little
call
guys.
you big guys, but you can't call someone
No,
a little guy.
no, it don't work that way. No double standards. Like, I'm not calling him a little person. The little guy, it's different. The big guys we call
Just say
them.
lightweight, heavyweight, lighter weight, heavier weight.
Is it bad to call
Heaviest
the
weight.
small fighters the little guys? Thank you. See, he's been a little guy his whole
You're
life.
Rampage, so you can call.
Yeah,
I,
I mean, you
I
get
don't want to
away with
offend
whatever,
nobody.
bro.
I don't want to offend nobody. But we always call the little guys little guys, even in wrestling.
Oh, really?
everything.
Oh,
yeah, always. They call us the big
All
guys.
right. Well, if they're used to it for being
See,
littler.
you got. Listen, he need to do a training camp.
Oh,
Go
God.
through a
So
Here
little-
we
he
go.
need to go through what we go through.
I-
So he
Jackson
understand-
Fight Camp.
He
huh?
broke my rib. How am I supposed to have a training camp? The first day of training camp, he breaks my rib.
How? Wrestling?
No,
Punching?
he
Yeah,
put a
he
cast.
gave me. Oh, you didn't give me a right hook?
No, I don't remember that.
Then would you give me that? My rib is protruding out my side.
I don't remember that.
Looks like a bow and arrow went through my back and came out my rib.
I don't remember that.
Okay.
That's
exactly.
every day for us. There's always something. I can't even look through my left. My
I
neck
know,
right
he was
now.
in the car and I was like, "Yo, you okay?" He's like, "No, my neck's a little tweaked."
So I'm
But
talking straight for
He's
him.
talking straight, and I'm like, "Why doesn't Cody want to look at me while I'm talking?" I'm like putting in gum. I'm like, "Yo," he's like, "No, don't worry,
This
bro."
dude's weird.
Yeah.
I tried to say it, man. Like my neck's a little kinked up, so I'm just gonna look this way and talk to you.
So I'm driving. He's just talking straight to the window.
That
Though.
remind me of one time my brother was driving me and he had some really bad breath. And I told him, I said, "Hey, yo, bro, talk to me like a taxi cab driver."
I can't even imagine. I don't even know how you woke up this morning. This guy was out all night in the Hollywood Hills partying.
Oh, man.
Hey, you're living La Vida Loca right now.
No, man, listen, I just had things to do.
Cutting a lot of weight, getting in shape,
I had
chasing the
things to
girls
do.
around town.
I'm professional. I was on time today.
What?
Yeah.
I asked him before. I asked him, hey, I said, how's Rampage on time? He's like, he's good.
Plus or minus.
Plus or minus.
Well,
We'll take it.
I'm rarely late. I'm not gonna say I'm never late, but I'm rarely late.
He's rarely late, but if he shows up on time and he's moody, it's about a 15-minute late start.
Bro,
He got the
You gotta get the
F3.
F3. He gotta get in the mood. The
I don't think he had one walking in. I think
I didn't
he
drink
did,
one
yeah.
yet. No, but this is the thing. If I'm walking in here and I'm not cracking jokes right away and stuff like that, they think I'm in a bad mood.
Yeah, because normally he shows up, it's like Disney World. This guy's happy, he's walking
Yeah, every time
around.
you see him.
Yeah,
I grew up
smiling.
watching him. As intimidating, as badass as he is, it's like he's always cracking jokes.
Funniest guy in the room.
Funniest guy, funniest Ultimate Fighter, but like big fan of this guy.
Yeah, then he
thank you,
shows
man.
up sometimes and he's
Well,
like,
he had
no.
those days, right?
Oh,
no,
I guess
the
if
blue
we,
chew didn't work last
Nope.
night. You know, my girl
here we
mad
go.
at
Oh,
me.
here
no, he was on Max. He ate, 2 times fast food. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get it, bro. I'd be upset too.
That would make you sluggish. For
Yeah,
sure.
dude,
if you're not
I
used
woke
to it.
up. I woke up this morning feeling
Little hungover?
because no, I don't get hangovers.
That's what yeah, you do.
I don't
Yes,
get
you do.
hangovers.
You showed up to a podcast and wore a wolf mask the whole time you were so hungover.
I was still drunk. I wasn't hungover.
That's being hungover.
No, that's not. What's a hangover? Is when
Hangover is when
when
you're
you
still
feel
kinda
got a
drunk.
headache and you feel sick or something. That's a hangover, right? Sometimes you wake up and you still drunk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been sober for 2.5
Yeah,
years.
no.
now,
Oh,
'cause
wow.
I used to have
Yeah.
bad. Not a bad drinking problem, but when I would drink, I would have the worst hangover. And it'd set me down for 2-3 days. Like
What it feel like? Your stomach or your headache? What's up?
man, headache, still just feel fog. Yeah, just out of. It's
not worth it.
Not worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't get hangovers.
I don't drink, so I would have known.
Have you ever drunk?
I drank like my first couple birthdays, my 21st, my 22nd, my 23rd, and then I stopped. But those were only he knows. I've only drinking like 3-4 times in my whole life.
I got a feeling it was like one of those girly drinks with the umbrella in it. whatever you was drinking.
Pink one with they got the shit around the rim.
Bro, we go out and this guy orders a strawberry daiquiri. I'm like, Rampage, you can't drink that in front of me, dog. We got Mighty Mouse, Khalil Roundtree. He's drinking these lemonade drops. What do you call those? Pink panty droppers? What do you call them?
Lemon drops.
Lemon drops.
Oh,
and he's ordering them 3 at a time. I go, Rampage,
keep 'em coming.
Yeah, he got his pinky out like he's drinking tea. I go, no, we ain't doing all this. I go, take a lap.
He lying about everything else, but I ain't gonna lie. I will take a lemon drop shot.
What am I lying about?
You talking about those?
out.
The other
Yeah,
shit you
he
said.
wanted he wanted. They said, do you want like the
Had the little straws.
No,
Yes.
no, don't do that.
My brother had that, had a cap and a Coke, and he brought it. He's drinking it. I'm like, bro, what? We're like, he's a big dude. He's drinking out of those little coffee straws.
What's the
Oh,
point?
no,
Like,
you
what are
can't
you
do
doing?
that.
I was like, man, took the straw, threw it away.
Yeah.
He's all pissed. And he's like, yeah, drink like a man if you're gonna drink cap and a Coke. You know?
No, it's people make fun of me because I was drinking those. What do you call them? Those white girl claws.
White Claws?
Oh, what they called?
White Claws?
Yeah.
White girl claws, white claws.
Oh, they call it white claw. I was drinking them. People make fun. I'm like, what's wrong with that? I thought it was.
I think
it's
it tastes like shit.
It do, but you know,
Like,
the
yeah.
calories. I was trying to watch.
you-
I was trying to watch the calories.
Oh, that's why you drink white claws. You want to watch the calories?
I be trying to watch my figure.
That's why you do the lemon drop.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. You're drinking the girly drinks. You got Khalil Roundtree and Mighty Mouse. We're in a party bus on the way to a Jackson party that we did. This guy's drinking little lemonade daiquiri thingies.
No,
and I'm like,
no.
dog,
They'll
this is
they'll
crazy.
sneak up on you.
Yeah.
Oh, on him?
up on
Oh, I watched this guy. He'll drink all night. You won't even know anything.
Uh-huh.
And then he's there.
Yeah. A lot of times you can't tell.
You can't tell.
Damn.
That's the craziest
I hide
part.
it.
That's cool.
I hide it because I'm from Memphis.
He's a chameleon.
Yeah, you don't want to show.
You're
You
gonna
don't
be
want
drunk.
No,
You
you
know,
don't
when
want to show.
you're
You
fucked
don't
up.
want to show you drunk out
Yeah.
there. You don't want to show.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden it's like, yo, where's Rampage? Oh, he's at the strip club. And it's like, all right, well, now you
In
know.
the
Yeah,
VIP booth.
yeah, now you know what. Now you
Where's
know
he
what.
at?
Don't believe
Now you
that.
know what's going on. Yo, one thing I wanted to touch upon is like you're so like intelligent and dialed in with how you do your training camps, your times, understanding who and why you need to train those people. And I do remember a lot of the controversy when TJ left Alpha Male. It was a big deal, right? Because I was like a big key figure for you guys. And then obviously I don't think people understood why or what he personally needed. You go to Vegas, kind of the same thing, because you personally are taking care of your son, being a great dad, you know, being a good role model at that time and kind of reimagining maybe your structure and how you would look at fighting moving forward. Do you now kind of understand, or do you feel later on in life you understood why maybe TJ had to leave for him and kind of like how you had to do it?
You know, I understood TJ from the start. You know why? Like I said, Dwayne, he had that chemistry with Dwayne. I had Justin Buckles. You know, that whole year, we had just a rhythm. We worked twice a week, and he ran the team. And he had Chris Holdsworth running the MMA side. Danny Castile was doing the wrestling. Buckles was doing the striking. So it was just a co-op of everybody. You know, we in that year, our team went crazy record. It was like 100 and something and like 5 the whole year of all fights all over, UFC, belt, all this stuff. Structure. I think structure, like we spoke about on the way here, structure, routine breeds success, you know, and when I have something that's, you know, set out, laid out for me, I just know I go and show up. That's easy. You know, we know what we're doing this day. So yeah, when I moved to Vegas, it was hard. You know, it was very hard for me because I knew what was going to be. I had to find new coaches, new teammates. Everybody in Vegas, like I told you, they train at 3 p.m. is the pro practice. So it's hard to do something super hard before the pro practice because you're trying to save yourself to push hard then and then do something after. So for me, I'm used to Team Alpha Male, and 9:30 every day was pro practice. And then you had, all right, if I'm going to do strength and conditioning with Rampage at 12, and I have jiu-jitsu at 6, you fill in the rest. You know, but pro practice was 9:30, so you hit the core pro practice, and then you fill in the rest of the day. You know, with training, with whatever you needed. And there's also other pro practices throughout the day in the schedule. So for me, there was no schedule. You know, so that's why I was trying extreme. I picked my son up at 3, practiced at 3:30. You know, I'm all about warming up, being there. These guys that come in, you know, 10 minutes before practice, kick up the shoes and just go. I got to warm up. I got to get visual, you know, for myself to know what I'm doing. I'm pushing myself in this practice, not just showing up and clocking out. You know, I got to put myself all in there. So yeah, I definitely understood TJ. You know, like that was never an issue with me.
Yeah.
With that, like, hey, I totally believe it. I have an uncle that would trade me from boxing, built me from ground up. You know, I still bring him in my camps. So even when I went to Alpha Male, I went to different gyms. You know, like and Alpha Male was my first real big gym that I ever went to.
Yeah.
I was literally training out of a horse stall barn, it had kerosene heater just to heat it up. We'd layer ourselves up before I never knew anything about training the way they train. You know, blending the strikes to the takedown. You know, the jiu-jitsu. Like all we did was everyone in the area came from my uncle for boxing. So we would do boxing with takedowns, not even kickbox. That's how I trained all the way up until I got out to Alpha Male. I'm like, oh, wow, I was out there for a week to check it out. I had to fly back home. And I talked to Uriah. He's like, what do you want to do? I was like, man, I want to make it. I'm a UFC champion. And he looked at me probably like, he's heard this so many times. Guys coming in because he has so many people coming from all over the world to train with these guys. Like myself, I came from Ohio to train with these guys. He had people from Australia and England, all over the world to come train. Uriah. They had the best guys at our weight. Mm-hmm. And you had Dwayne there. You had Martin Kampman. You had a bunch of coaches there, but also you had the guys that were in the UFC that they would train themselves. Like Chad, they would show up wrestling, show moves. So it was like a co-op. Just a good environment to train at. And he said, all right, man, get to 5-0, we'll get you to the UFC.
Wow.
So that was my number that I needed, Like, all right, focus on that number. I got to 5-0, got signed to the UFC, and then just took off from there. So I went 1-0, showing up, kind of like I said, I broke my hand in my pro debut, and I had vertigo, real bad vertigo symptoms. So I had to do like vestibular therapy and UPMC. And then I was like, dude, I'm wasting way more time. I got to get out there, see how good I am. Went from 1-0 to 11-0 world champion with those guys. So, forever grateful for what I was able to do. But now I'm at, and I go to Vegas now. I'm like, I need this. I know what I need. And I don't need cheerleaders. I need a coach. You know what I mean? Yes, man. I need people that are going to shoot to me straight. So all my coaches, they're not, they don't stay on me. Like, almost like, you're easy to work with. I'm like, yeah, this is what I signed up for. I don't need my hand held to come to practice, or, hey, I need to spar. I need this. I set up all my camp, all my training sessions, make sure my training partner's there. If I need to spar with someone, I pay them to come in, they show up to other practices, pads and grappling, that's there. I think in Vegas is a good staple for bodies. Mm-hmm. Like, you might be from a different team, you're from a different team. You go spar, you go fight, but like to have like the training, the drilling, hey, showing up at 9 to get these extra work in, you're probably not going to get that a lot. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I had a lot of friends that I met through the PI that come to the UFC looking for, they don't have structure at their own gyms wherever they're from, so they come here. I'm like, hey, let's take from Alpha Mill what I learned and what kind of system they developed there to breed and to develop fighters that don't maybe have good boxing and kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, not so good. We blend it together and have these practices. So Monday through Friday, we have practice every day at 10. It's kind of open invite, for everyone to come on because it's UFC. We have to book it out. We have a nice little staple that people keep coming and coming. You see the guys and the girls evolving really well with the structure that is being showed.
Have you run into anybody that you might have to fight there?
All the time.
That's crazy, huh?
It's funny. They announced our fight with Miles, and I saw him like the next day, and I was like, man.
And he's in there working out?
Yeah, and they're working out.
And you can watch each other work out, or how does it? I've never been there.
Yeah, no, I think he was getting some PT. I was working out.
Oh, okay.
I was putting some extra weight on, making them, what I mean? Like, putting those little Mentos in, foaming at the mouth and shit, like the little giants. But no, I mean, PT works there, so all the doctors, they work on. So I'm getting worked on by Dom. So me and Dom developed the relationship after, fighting and having our rivalry that we had. So we see each other all the time.
Yeah.
Me and Dom, and talk and catch up, wish him well with his career and whatever he's doing his next fight. But yeah, there's all kinds of fights. That's why the security is always on guard.
Oh, for real? Is security there?
All the time. There's fights that happens all the time.
Is it private rooms, training rooms, or is it just open?
Open. It's open. Sometimes if you have a significant injury, they'll take you into like the private room, so it's not like disclosing like your injury that you have. But most it's open, and the PTs, they're all. I mean, they work on everybody. But they don't pick and choose size.
That's a good thing the UFC doing with that. What's it called? A PI? Mm-hmm. That's a good thing that they're doing. I wish they had that when I was around, but I probably wouldn't wouldn't train there.
It was hard at first. Like, I was training at other gyms, or I was training at Extreme, and then I was training at Project Wellbeing for strength and conditioning. And then I was like, let me check this place out. And they have all of our testing, VO2 testing, the max sprint testing. So they basically build a program for you, what you need. Say you're weak at cardio, you're going to work on cardio, breath work, things like that, strength, explosiveness. So it's tailor-made workouts for you.
Wow.
What you need.
And it's all free for you guys.
All free.
And the food is free too, I heard.
Food free.
Can you take it home? Like, can they meal prep?
Yep. So you have an app that you can get on. It's called Note Meal, and you can Charles gives you your macros, your calories that you need, protein intake. You boom, type it in, and you put it in the night before. You pick it up. You get breakfast, lunch. Breakfast, lunch every day.
But they give you for one day at a time. Or you can take
Yeah,
home
you
a-
pick it up. Yeah, you pick it up.
wow.
So then also, like, say if I just go in, I'm training the day, I go get a meal ticket. I call it a food stamp. Hey, I need a food stamp. Go get a food stamp. Go to the cafeteria and you get like $25 for that food. And it's they have chefs in there. They have a new chef that they just brought in. So always changing the menu.
But it's not open to the public. Only MMA, UFC fighters can go.
Only UFC fighters. Yeah, like I can bring like
You can
people,
bring- you can bring-
people in. I think you get three guests. So if I say, hey, I want you guys to come in and work out with me, you guys can all work out and do that.
and then they have the guests have to pay for the food.
I mean, you get so I get a $25. Yeah, probably need a
No.
couple meal tickets.
No, they don't take care of me.
But you could bring your team in with you.
Bring your team in. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
there's a
That's
pecking
cool.
there's a pecking order sometimes. You know. what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You,
Yeah.
For sure.
You went on a tear when you came into the UFC. One of the best intros for a fighter to come into the UFC, right? All the way in, unbeaten, beat Dominic, get the belt. And people look at your career already nearly a decade in, and it's incredible, right? It's truly incredible what you've done. What keeps you so hungry? You've already had such an illustrious career. Like you in the books, like you did it. It's done. Like you've already cemented yourself in your division. But what makes you still so hungry at this point to still want to keep fighting?
For me, it's not being satisfied. I think winning the title. I think Rampage can contest this as well. I didn't feel fulfilled. Like I won it, and I was like, that's it. Like I think because I've fixated on it for so long and visualized myself doing it to when I did it, I was like, it wasn't like this huge surprise. Oh shit, I did it. Like obviously I was happy, and I was happy for the people around me that was with me from the beginning that was there, but I was never like, wow, this is, I don't know. I'm still chasing whatever I was chasing, just something different. I was chasing that world title to have that for different reasons. It was life-saving for me, for me to get out of my city, get out of my town, to have that dream and accomplish it. But it wasn't like for me when that night, it wasn't like, oh, now I'm chasing whatever else is in my mind, like just because I loved it. I love fighting. I don't see myself doing anything else because this window shuts every day. You only fight so long. Lord willing, I'll stay healthy, have longevity, 5 to 8 more years. Whenever I want to be able to walk away from fighting, not stay in and see a lot of the greats that went out
Shit, I did it.
man, it's tough.
I knew I was going to do it. I was like, man, I'm going to go out on my sword. I just knew I did because I love fighting. But then over the years, after all the injuries, you just hate the training after a while.
Yeah.
Because it hurts.
Fucking shit hurts. That's why I tell about tattoos too. I'm like, when I was younger, I was getting tattooed. That shit didn't faze me at all. I'm getting tattooed now. I'm like, damn, why am I doing this? Like, same thing. I'm like, damn, I walk down to the octagon every time. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing this shit for? You know what I mean? I'm in the back warming up. I'm like, damn, we're about to do 5 minutes. They come back, hey, 5 minutes, you're walking. I'm like, oh shit, I'm trying to think all kinds of excuses, man. Like, well, how can I get out of this? Yeah. Until you get into the cage. And then for me, the fight starts when I'm in striking distance from my opponent. That's when I feel like, okay, that's when I flip the switch. But all the way up to that point, I'm like, dude, why didn't I pay attention in school? Why didn't I go to college? I dropped out of college twice. It's just the mental, the mental too. Obviously in the physical, like shit hurts, man. Fighting hurts. The camps are taxing, but like I said, I think where we're at now with the PT and the recovery and then the testing, like, hey, when I was younger, we just did red line days every day. Like now I'm like, hey, I do 3 days hard, super hard. Then Thursday is more of like a drill session. Now I'll do hard strength conditioning. Friday, do a technical session, bag work, pads, somewhat kind of fit-ins, grappling. And then Saturday's like a full fight sim. We do the fight sim where I might spar there for 30 seconds. I don't know how long I'm sparring, but I'm sparring. Next thing you know, a guy's coming in. I got to defend the takedown.
Oh, wow.
Then I get on the bike for a 5-calorie bike, then the ropes, and I'm back to the sparring, then I'm pad. So it's like just that chaotically, you don't know what's going on. Same thing with the fight. So I think that helps out a lot too, being able to do high-low days, because every day you go in, it's like you're just pushing yourself to the limit. And really, I don't need to be ready next weekend for the fight. I'm fighting in 8 weeks.
Right.
So it's like, why am I pushing myself to the brink? Camps, and you have also now with the testing and being at the UFC PI, and they see so many athletes, you have a deload week. Never had a deload week in camp. Like
What's that?
So on strength and conditioning, we'll build up for a 4-week period where we're doing the same block. We're adding weight. We're adding this to it, and then 4 weeks out from a fight, you do a deload. So you might be doing 6 reps of everything. 6 sets. You might go down to 4 sets or 3 sets. So it's like, man, it makes a huge impact on your recovery. Because the whole time you're up here, and then it starts going down your recovery, and you're still just taxed. So when you stop it, it kind of like lets that line go.
And what's that called?
A deload week. Oh, Bear doesn't do deloads? What? He doesn't do deloads?
You said
You don't do deloads?
I didn't say it.
What? Just say it. What? No, just say it. No, just say it. Say the joke.
I'm not going to say the joke.
I want to hear the joke.
He asked a question.
And what was the question?
I'm going to repeat what he just said.
Okay, what did he just say?
Have you ever done a deload week?
No, you just always redlining, huh?
I'm always
Always redlining, bro.
Listen, Rampage is cut from a different cloth, so sometimes
it was funny.
He hears things, but then he thinks of something else.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So
I'm silly.
He sees red, but then he goes green. Oh, I gotta go. He sees green, then he stops. He sees red. Yeah. Sometimes, he's different. He's like Neo. He's like in the Matrix.
I like to make fun of him. He's like my little bro, right?
Sure.
I like to make fun.
It is what it is. Sometimes.
So you don't do deload weeks?
Do I?
I don't know, but you know what? He has been training.
He doesn't train hard enough, or
he don't train hard enough.
Okay, that's what we're getting at.
He a pansy when it comes to training.
Okay,
he thinks he's Rocky though.
Oh yeah, I see his shadow boxing and everything. I'm like, oh, this guy's getting after it. When he's getting ready for the fight, I'm like, this guy is all in.
But he don't. But he don't want to train hard.
No, I was training for a big fight in Rosarito. I was going to make my pro boxing debut. My corner was insane, right? Think about who's in my corner: Chuck Liddell, Anderson Silva, Rampage. Then I had Coach Perillo, Yogi. I was going to go down there with a squadron. Right, we're gonna make a documentary about this thing. My first pro debut in Mexico. We're gonna kill this guy, right?
Boxing.
Yeah. I thought I was gonna kill him. So we're playing Rocky soundtrack every day. Got Luke in here. We're doing runs around the block with 20 people. Literally, I felt like I was in a movie, make believe, right? I really
no shirts the whole time.
No shirts. Never had a shirt on. I was fat my whole life. Then I got shredded, shot out, and then Rampage decided to break my rib a week before the fight.
I had to humble you.
And he humbled me in front of everybody, in front of the whole gym.
No, there was New Massa came here and kicked his ass too.
Joaquin Buckley. Beat the brakes off me. Literally, 2 girls walked in the gym. I never seen a guy turn it on so fast in my life.
Guarantee it.
Oh, he turned it on.
Guarantee it, Joaquin.
I put some hands on him, and then I think he was just letting me play. Like he was just letting me just see what it feels like to hit someone. Then he saw these 2 baddies walk in, and he goes, all right, it's time to... He put the gas on.
Yeah, he got knocked out in the gym once, and he deleted all the footage off the camera.
And just the SIM card fell out the camera in the trash can.
No.
Trash can right away.
Yeah.
But this new training you guys doing, it's different back in my day. I'm the older fighter. Back in my day,
what you guys do? Axes and trees and
no, we would shut the that's rude.
Hard.
I'm not that goddamn old. That was rude there.
What?
No, man.
What?
No.
I thought that's what you guys.
No,
would
you're
do.
embarrassing me in front of the guests.
No, you told me you would go to Big Bear. You guys would run in the forest, and you guys would get the axe in the trees, and how many trees you could.
No. We train in Big Bear.
Oh, that was a George Foreman documentary.
Yeah, that's fucked up. But we would do round. We would have like a new guy come like every a new guy step in the cage every
round,
every 2.5 minutes. Yeah, like because we do 5-minute rounds or we do 6-minute rounds sometimes.
Right. Oh wow.
Yeah, so it'd be 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes. A new guy come in the cage.
Yeah. Why do? What is the point of that though? Because what do you want to be gassed out?
Yeah, they want a fresh guy sparring with you.
But you're paying these sparring partners so you could beat the brakes off them, right? Or
yeah, I paid my sparring partner. Everybody don't do that. But
no.
Yeah,
you have to.
Why is that?
For me, I mean, it just if they're not in the UFC, they're probably not making. They're fighting on these regional scenes, even the higher scenes that are kind of going in the feeders into the UFC.
Yeah,
they're not getting paid much, and they're not staying busy. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these kids are young. And just sitting back. They'll be idled for 10 months, a year, not fighting. Man, when I was cleared healthy, I fought. I went from 1-0 to 11-0. I was just staying busy. That's what I remember. The first time they brought me in, Dana, Sean, Lorenzo's when he was still part of the UFC, and I was like, man, I appreciate all this stuff they've gifted me and done for me. So I enjoy fighting, just keep me busy. Yeah. That's all I asked. That year they had 4 fights. Yeah, like I said, unranked world champion. So I was like, I just want to stay busy and fight. I think, Mark Henry. Coach over in Jersey was Frank Yeager's coach, Eddie Alvarez. He has waiting equals death. You know, and like in fighting, if you're waiting, you can staying idle too. It's like
Your coach is Mark Henry, the strongest man in the world.
that's so funny. He gets that all the time.
No, not him.
No, not him.
No, but
Phenomenal coach, awesome guy too. I mean, he's the way that I looked at his coaching standpoint. Like I remember going in there and sparring, I hit someone with the 8-punch combo. I was like, oh, he's gonna be jacked about this. He's gonna be so pumped. And I would move a defensive move, like I'd slip out or hang out, and he'd be like, dang, that defensive move was awesome. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I just started first working with him. I'm like, did he not just see what I just did to this dude? You know what I mean? Like, I just hit this guy with everything. Like, it was great, you know, combo. And he's talking about my defense. That's what he was. He was about defense. And the first fight I worked with him was the Sun South fight.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So defense was on point, movement, little things, little, you know, 2-inch feints, 8-inch feints, you know, like to draw them out. Eye feints, like when you're tired, you know, like you're not want to move, like you're doing eye feints, looking down, you're looking in your head, like little things that don't take a lot of energy from you. You know, different overhands, you know, punching them with the top of the knuckle, hitting the back of the head, like just little things that he brought to my game, you know, movement, you know, because Frankie was at 155, but he wasn't the biggest guy, so. He had to have that crazy output volume and constantly moving. For me, like I believe in my power, so you know a lot of times I fuck up and watch my work sometimes. You know, like boom, like oh I know I hit him this time, they're going down. You know, so he was always like hit, you know, and move. You know, that's the name of the game. And then I was trying to develop that style with you know the slips and the angles, the little movement. And then obviously the big movements when you need to.
Yeah.
You know.
When you fought, did you make eye contact with your opponents, or are you just looking at their chest?
Yeah, I'm looking at, you know, I'm kind of looking at a triangle, the shoulders and the chest. My uncle always, you know, said aim for the chest. You know, you're always going to plug them with something, you know, the chest. Like you start reaching for their head, they're going to, you know, slip and move. And a lot of people are getting good at, you know, fighting backwards, fighting an angle, switching stances now, you know. So it's a lot of that. But I always looked chin to the chest, you know, and then you can see like the muscle fiber, you know, moving. So I would tell, and that's when I knew when I was gonna beat Dom was that night at weigh-ins, because we got in like a little scuffle, and I was like, I saw like the way his body moved, and I was like, wow. And you see it, and I think I'm like, you're too slow. I'm telling you, you're too slow. I told him that. I was like, man, you're too slow. And as great at movement as he was, and like he's very unorthodox, so he had to keep, you know, wasn't coming at regularly. I grew up boxing with high level boxers, so like a lot is very pinpoint, sharp, to the point. Like a lot of these MMA guys, they throw crazy wild punches to where it was like when I was fighting amateur, I had some tougher amateur fights because they were just, I wasn't used to that. You know, I was sparring a lot of these high level, you know, pro boxers. You know, I would spar Sean Porter growing up. I mean, that he was just an animal.
Yeah.
Paul Spadafora, like that with Perillo. I was in 2 of his camps growing up when he was coming back after he got, you know, did his little prison stint, trying to make his comeback. And he was probably one of the slickest southpaws I ever worked with. But
you ever had a boxing match?
Yeah, I did. I think
before MMA.
Yeah, that's why I started. So in Ohio, you had to be 18 to do cage fighting. So I started boxing at 14. So I did about 30-some amateur fights.
You did 30-some amateur?
Yeah, 30-some.
That's why his head movement is so good.
30, yeah.
I mean, between Joe Rogan, you know, Perillo, TJ, Uriah, everybody knows you probably have some of the fastest hands the UFC's ever seen. But is it your power, or is it the speed that you feel was your biggest advantage?
I think, too, my uncle always had us, you know, hands and feet together. You know, you see a lot of these fights, they throw the overhand right in their backs, all, you know, they're off balance, you know, defensively not sound. So my uncle always said, hey, your offense sets up your defense and vice versa. So having my feet and hands under me, I'm doing a 4 or 5 punch combination, my feet and hands are moving together. So, and they're snapping out. And he was like that. He fought like that. He fought 147 and he just, man, he was so quick and just hit so hard. Like he was just a brute. So I think obviously genetics too. And then obviously how he trained me. It's little slips and movements. I mean, a lot of times I'm pulling just barely, I can feel I can smell the leather.
Yeah.
That's so close, and I'm just recoiling the punch on him.
It's pretty interesting because from 2005 to 2016, Dominick Cruz didn't lose anything. I think he only lost 1 submission event against Uriah Faber. Right. That was it. And then you came in and put on one of the best fights we've ever seen a contender put on. And you just looked so crisp, so clean. It was obviously your camp, something about you going into that fight. Did Uriah have a lot of input on that camp, or what was it that you went in that fight feeling so strong?
I think the guys on the team had a lot. You know, they've known Dominic, and for me, I've figured this is the guy I was going to fight when I was a teenager. You know, watching WEC, I knew I was going to be the size of Rampage. You know, when I grew up, you know, like I was like, I'm going to be probably WEC guy, so I kind of gravitated towards that. But I loved watching the UFC. You know, it's something I always loved to do, loved to watch. Ultimate Fighter, I thought I was like, I'm going to get in the Ultimate Fighter. You know, we're going to go in there. That's how I'm going to get my contract. Thank God I didn't have to do that. Because I coached it one time, and I was like, I can only imagine being in the house, having to deal with that. People you're going to fight, being away 8 weeks.
No phones.
No phones.
Can't contact
no
your
nothing,
family.
nothing.
That's harsh.
Yeah, it is. And you have to cut weight. You have to fight so many times. You know what? In the 8-week period, at least 2 or 3 until you get to the finale. So that's kind of like where I was, but I said WC. So I gravitated towards Faber, you know, and then those guys, Joe Benavidez, Miguel Torres, all these guys, you know. And so, yeah, I think that Team Alpha Male, you know, they fought him a lot.
Yeah.
And like I said, watching him, I knew his rhythm and, you know, kind of his footwork. Just watching him over and over again. And then just my style, you know, for sure. Like my uncle was, you know, he was there since the beginning. So he groomed me for this kind of fights, you know, a lot of movement, you know, staying tight, staying, you know, high guard, little angles, moving with him. That's one thing. I think a lot of people get in there with Dominic and they're like, his footwork, he's unorthodox, he moves differently. And they just kind of like sit there and wait for him get his like rhythm. I mean, you got to dance with that guy. You know, we can't let him do the dance or he's going to be in the next, you know, he's throwing these overhands, he's doing the takedowns. And then he'd win against, you know, get him up against the cage, taking him down. So I think it's the first thing was when I defended his takedown and then I took him down. I was like, okay, now it's like, all right. Because he wasn't getting me on the feet. I kept hitting him a couple times in the first round to where I was like, I could see like that significantly hurt him. Like he's good. He's super tough. I hit him with some hard shots where one time I hit him with the step right hand. He fell completely, laid out. And I was like, he's done. And he got back up, had a huge cut on his, just a warrior. It contests to why he was so great for so long, right? And all the things that he's overcame with injuries and setbacks and the ups and downs, you know, of the career and life. So I have a lot of respect for him, you know what I mean? But I knew when it was my time, it was my time. But the UFC, the Team Alpha had a lot of, help towards that for sure.
A lot of people in the camp.
Yeah.
I want to ask him something off topic. I noticed that the last fight, they was checking the fighters' heart rates in between rounds.
I saw that.
You saw that?
Yeah.
That was the first time they done that?
I think so. I think they, one of the times they had a punch like stat, like they would cut out the glove and then put like some kind of tracking device to see how the force and stuff that you could go into your glove.
How you feel about that? I think that will impair like the betting and stuff because some people can bet in between rounds and stuff, right?
Dude, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because you can.
Damn, Rampage! I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Damn, Rampage!
You a gambler?
Well, you know,
sometimes you know.
Well, I'm getting it. I'm looking into it now because I'm teaming up with Kyrgo.
Okay.
And I'm looking into it. Gambling on the fights. I've never really done that before because
this is why you've been watching the fights lately.
Yeah, because unpredictable. MMA is unpredictable.
Yeah.
But now they got the heart rates and stuff, and I'm looking. I'm like,
Oh, so you was like this. You're like,
Oh, that
how you do it during the fight?
But make it
Interesting.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. I did not realize that. So did you and the Kyrgo guys say like, yo, we need to be careful when people are betting?
No. They didn't. I haven't said anything to them about it.
Damn, that's smart.
I wanted to ask the fighters.
Yeah.
I never have even seen that. Like I think I saw it one time with some motocross, but I'd never seen it in like football. I haven't seen it in basketball.
How are they doing it with the?
I think
the
same
gloves?
thing.
That's why I was thinking. I'm gonna tell you, this is the craziest thing. I was just in Columbia at BioAccelerator with my son. And the guy there, Joey, you haven't met him yet, have you?
Okay, no.
Joey is the guy that takes care of us and, takes us to the restaurants and take us around and stuff. And he loves MMA. And he's good friends with Chris Cyborg. And he was watching the fight. He said, man, they should put heart rate monitors on the fighters. I was thinking, how would they do it? They would have to put it in the glove. And it might mess up, blah, blah, blah. And then I went to the last fight, 306, and they had the heart rate monitor. And the guy texted me. He said, see, that's crazy. He just texted me the other day. He found out, and then that's when I thought about it. This is my first time bringing it up to people about the.
It is cool. It is cool to see that because
topic.
I'd love to see that because I know guys like you, champions, like to get a belt, there's something special about you. The way you're able to control your emotions, the way you're able to control your breathing, the technique, or just taking it in everything and not overexposing yourself. We've sat down with so many world champions, and the common denominator is when you're on top, when you're winning that fight, don't overexpose, don't get too overzealous. Just finish the fight, win it. There's something that you have to be able to be in the moment. You have to be able to control your breathing, your mind to do that. So this is an amazing way to see that.
Yeah, but it could be misleading too, because I remember Michael Bisping, his resting heart rate is so low,
right? Yeah.
That the doctors thought something was wrong with him. But some people just built different.
He's just British.
It's all the tea he drinks.
We gotta
all the tea.
All the tea. He's chilling out. UFC Embedded posted this clip from 217, and while we pull up the clip, we got you something right here. This is our brand new JX1. This is the new watch from Jackson. It's got a Japanese movement. It's got a scratch-proof sapphire crystal, and it's a chronograph with one of the most complex movements with incredible shine, incredible weight. Rampage has the silver and black two-tone.
That one looks dope too.
I wanted you to be one of the first ones to get the black one. Black face with the illustrious lume dial. It also has the Japanese movement with the butterfly clasp, with the X insignia. Great for comfort, fit, style, but this embodies the elegance. And over a year's worth of designing, sitting down with guys like Rampage, Sheckler, P-Rod, Twitch, Ellie De La Cruz, OBJ, just really trying to figure out what a guy wanted in a watch. And we created the most complete watch for a man. So you could feel the weight, the shine.
That's light. Wow.
Yeah.
Super
So
light.
exactly. It feels incredible with the way the band feels on your wrist, the way it fits. It should come kind of like commonly fitting. And the butterfly clasp keeps it secure and smooth. Wow. Crazy fit, right? Yeah. And the shine is incredible. Here's the clip from UFC 217. It's a body armor clip, and it's Kobe Bryant, NBA legend, RIP, one of the best, and yourself. You haven't aged a bit. Francis Ngannou. What were you guys talking about? What was this for?
So this was, he was part owner in Body Armor. He invested a lot in Body Armor, so they signed us. Prior to this fight, great company to work for. I mean, they were phenomenal. I mean, they understood, hey, you're an athlete that comes first training, didn't fly us all over the place crazy, but me and Kobe was great. We discussed about, staying on top, getting there, it's not that it's easy to get there, but what keeps you there. So we were talking about like what things he does to stay engaged in the present, not looking forward to like too far in the future as far as like wins and losses, we're judged off of that, in fighting, wins or losses. How did you do your last fight? That's how obviously our pay scale goes up. If we win our fight, okay, then in our next contract, our fight goes up. So little things like that, just staying engaged and this love for the sport. So being able to have that time with Kobe and speak to him and just get that. It was right before I fought TJ, so it was like a lot of things going on. But that was a great moment in my life to meet Kobe and just have that one-on-one discussion. We talked for a good hour before.
Wow. His mindset is different.
And honestly, like when people say the Mamba mentality, I'm like, I get it now. Like after having that conversation, like he's turned on 24/7. There's no off switch on the Mamba mentality. It's through. I mean, just to even have a conversation with us, Nagano was there as well for most of the conversation. But man, just a real dude. I mean,
he's a dope guy. I met him one time. I sat courtside at one of the games. And he watches MMA. I don't know if that's before or after. I didn't know he knew who I was. And he let me come back to the locker room after the fight. He was real nice to me. I met his wife. And I was standing, I didn't go in the locker room. I was standing out there and one of the hot ass fucking cheerleaders walked by. Bro, she was so hot. I just had to shoot my shot. And
did you get it?
No.
Bro,
I said the worst. I said the worst thing. I was like, "You need a bodyguard?" She was like, "Hell no." I'm like, "Damn."
Your opening line to a Laker cheerleader was, "You need a bodyguard."
I didn't know what to say.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
But I meant Kobe.
It's actually not bad.
Kobe.
It's actually not
Need a
bad.
bodyguard?
Yeah,
No.
it's actually pretty good.
It was. Yeah.
I'll give you that. That's actually pretty good.
Like if I was a girl, I'd feel safe. I'm like, yeah. Like, thank you.
I didn't know what to say. You ever been there? You see a beautiful girl? She was like real gorgeous. You don't know what to say.
I've had that happen not too long ago. It sucked.
Yeah,
I was like, we were at all my friends. This is years ago, but all my friends sitting there. And like, there was this. They were giving pizza out at this event, and I was like, "Oh, this girl, we just say hi, talk a few times as she walked by." And I didn't know what to say. Like we've talked, here and there, and I was like, "Oh," she's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm good. I'm like, "Hey, you getting some pizza?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "All right." And like, and then they walked away. She walked away, and my boy just started laughing, dying. I'm like, dude. He's like, bro, what was that? I'm like, dude, I had nothing to say. I didn't know what to say.
Yeah, that's the risk we take. And we
I felt this
That's
big.
the risk we take.
As men, women don't typically hit on
Nope,
men.
never.
Well, they
We're
would
not-
if
we're
you
not-
wouldn't be so intimidating. You're walking around with a wolf mask at Dave & Buster's. What do you expect's gonna happen, brother?
walk
Dave
around.
and Buster's.
Yeah, we had to have Mighty Mouse come over to try to help him out, and then Mighty Mouse goes, "No, that's just my dad," and then he walks away. And the girl's like, "Wait, that's your son?" And she didn't know, have no clue.
I wasn't even hitting on that
Yeah.
girl. I wasn't even. We were just all hanging out there.
He shot his shot.
No, I didn't.
He was like, "Hey, you want the nachos
Confidence,
fully
though.
loaded?" That's what he told the girl, and the girl's
Don't
like,
believe nothing he say.
"Why? What did you say about the nachos?
I ain't say nothing about the nachos.
Then what? Or the ice cream?"
Oh, no, listen. How do you pick up chicks? What's your go-to? Do you do
First,
like
I
pick
go
up
to
lines?
them and I go, "You have a very flattering and unique body, and I also feel like your eyes are phenomenal." And then I look at them right in the eyes and I go, "Will you marry me?"
That's a Newport quote right there. That's a guy from Newport hitting on.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
I don't-
That doesn't work for you. What did you do last night in the Hollywood Hills? Because I saw you taking photos with girls.
Yeah, I'm taking photos.
Okay, but you know a girl, when you're taking a photo with a girl, you don't have to go like this.
Yeah, I do that for a reason.
Why do you do that to
I
the
do that
girl?
for a
It's
reason.
intimidating.
No, I do that for a reason. I'm gonna tell you why I do that, because you take a picture with girls and stuff like that. They can say whatever they want in a picture, but if I got my fist up like this, it's a fan picture. I know what I'm doing.
Yep.
It's a fan picture. She can't say like, it can't come back like no Diddy party.
Nope.
Allegations on me.
Hold me up.
Yeah.
Rampage always thinking about everything.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
steps ahead.
Hey, steps ahead. No, I mean, honestly, if you do want to pull a chick, Rampage, I think your best move is to go and just make her laugh and be you. Because you're a nice guy, but people look at you, they get intimidated. You got the silver grill in, you got the wolf mask, you got your big combat boots on, you got the
wear the
18
Yeezys?
band. Yeah, no, he wears these combat boots. They give him 3 extra inches so he could be as tall as Luke Rockhold when we go
Wait,
out.
what company is that?
Prada.
Asking for a friend.
Bro, yeah. No, hey, but you got to make them laugh more. Just don't be so intimidating. Don't go up to him and be like, "Hey, you want to get my Lamborghini?" Like they don't like
I
that.
don't do that.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
If you don't eat till 5, bro, like you're gonna be.
That's
you know
what I'm saying.
I mean?
He's
Like,
moody by the time we go out.
I do.
Bro, I'd feel that too.
About 3:30, 4
I
o'clock.
think if you make the girls laugh, you'll be fine.
you might be right.
You moved down to 125. Are you thinking about moving ever again back down to 125?
no way.
No.
I mean, I had a great weight cut. I hired Dr. Capo, Italian doctor, phenomenal. We worked like 6 months to get down. The weight cut was great. I think it was where I was at in my life.
Yeah.
I was going through a divorce. I was selling the house the week of my fight. Like I just wasn't engaged. Not to make excuses. The guy fighting was tough, but when the UFC offers you, hey, fight this fight, you're fighting for a title next. Like obviously, that's more money comes with the title, more things, opportunities. Which I had the title fight after I knocked out a Sunsal to fight Davison, and I got COVID, and I had whatever they call it, the long haul. I was testing positive for COVID for like 6 months. So then Davison and Moreno fought and went to a draw. So I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna wait a whole nother camp or however long they're gonna do the rematch. Obviously, you can't not have a draw and fight for the title, right? You can't have someone else do it. You have to rematch them. So like, all right, go up and fight Rob Font. So my first fight back was a 5-round fight right after COVID. Dude, I'm telling you what, after that first round, I felt horrible. I was like, dude, have this guy just knock me the fuck out. Like he was hitting me with everything, bro. Like I was like, bro, just please put me. My legs, I couldn't and I had that damn Whoop strap on, and I was heavy because I was cycling a lot, road cycling. So I got into that. So I was going down to 25.
Yeah.
So I was in that process of going down, but then I went back up. So, man, I think I weighed in at like 143 for that fight with Font.
Wow.
5-round fight. So I'm like, so then I went down to 25. I weighed 155 for my fight. And I felt so sluggish and slow. Like I remember warming up in the back with Coach Henry. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm getting fucked up this fight. Like I just had no movement. Like I felt slow.
You thought that in your mind?
100%. I'm like, dude, I'm getting, and where I was at too, I was, going through my divorce and, selling the house. Like, all right, now I'm like, I'm gonna have to move, figure out, what's next. I wasn't even engaged in where I needed to be.
Yeah.
Walked down in the cage, kind of like, all right, let's get this fight over with and go fucking collect my life and figure out what's the next move, right? Especially with the son, I want to make sure he's taken care of. And things are as smooth as this transition can be, with going through that.
But don't you find yourself weak and like all the time warming up before your fight, like slow and weak?
Oh, dude, yeah.
I do that every time.
But this one was
it was different
because I gained 27 pounds.
Jesus.
I was 12 or 13 pounds heavier than I was at bantamweight at 25.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
It
but
was crazy.
psychologically going into a fight, thinking those types of
Oh,
thoughts.
yeah.
I'm not a
I mean-
fighter, so I can't really. I don't want to like weigh in on this in the wrong way. But there's got to be something to tell you like that's probably not okay, right? For a fighter to be thinking those types. I mean, you're almost
happens.
reverse manifesting.
You have intrusive thoughts. You have,
Yeah.
you know, we all as humans, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I have intrusive thoughts all the time. It's like,
Yeah. How do you combat it though?
wash it with a good thought.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like clean thoughts, dirty thoughts, you
Yeah.
know, wash it out. But for me, going to the UFC Performance Institute, you know, I keep going back to this. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's just a phenomenal. We were never showed to like, you know, my mom raised us, you know, she gave us tough love. So it was always kind of like, you know, emotion. You know, it was, you know, she did what she had to do to get us
Yeah.
a good start in life. So for be able to go talk about your emotions and how you're feeling, like we're world champions. We're in the toughest sport, and I didn't call it a sport. You know, we fight. You know, we're fighters. We're modern day gladiators. So we go in there. We have to shut off all those kind of emotions. You know, to go in there and get your body ready for what's going to happen in 3 or 5 rounds. You know, so for me, it's like I felt not engaged. You know what I mean? Like I felt like thinking, oh, I'm going to get to this fight, do this. This is my career. This is my, you know, how I make a living. So I started going to a sports therapist at the UFC Performance Institute. They have a sports therapist, Micah. He played in MLB, and I've been working with him almost 3 years now about being engaged, like senses, like hey, like when you start not focused on what's in front of you. You know, you got this guy that's trying to kill you. You know, basically, he's trying to knock you out, submit you, break your arm, whatever. When you're thinking about hey, what am I doing after the fight? Oh, I got this after party I'm going to. You know, like hey, like reverting back to like sight, smells, feeling, you know what I mean? So when I get in the cage, you know, Rampage, that canvas is gritty. You know, you feel it on your feet, and then I grab the cage. It's a still cage covered in rubber. You know, it's still a steel cage. You know, so I do little things that get me grounded into like the present. You know, when my mind starts to drift, or I have those intrusive thoughts, like, you know, I'll be in the fight sometimes too. I'm like, damn man, that fucking kick hurt. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, damn, like. You know, this is crazy. You have some crazy thoughts, like, or you see something in the crowd, like, you know, like he said, like how he didn't even know Kobe knew who he was. Like, we have entertainers from the highest level coming to watch us fight, and you'll be like, oh shit, there's a Rock, or you know, whoever.
You think they're
like,
right in the fight?
Well, I remember last fight I saw Theo. He was like upping my Theo Vaughn. I'm like, I mean, he's great. He's a great comedian, super funny. And I was getting ready. And we're the first fight. So for me, I never fought in the first fight. So it was just the whole day. I didn't do the warm up.
300?
300, yeah. And in the back room, you have Jim Miller in the back. I have a bunch of guys because we shared the locker room to get warmed up the mats, right? I didn't bring up music. So I'm like, I'm the first fight. I'm not bringing this shit. Like, and I'm like, guys, you guys have this energy. Everyone's just chilling. I'm like, let's get this, you know, energy going. Like sometimes you room with a guy that's got good energy. It's like, yeah, you know, you're like, yeah, you're going to battle, you know, not together, but you're kind of together. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, when we leave the locker room, you're walking the curtains pull, you're walking to the octagon. So it was just a weird, like, very quiet. And I was like, just different. So I'm like, I got to start this shit myself. So I go out there and fight, and like the same thing. I'm like getting ready to fight, and next thing I know, I'm like, I thought Theo was part of my corner. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm looking, I'm like, yeah, you know, because you do the send off before, you know, give the daps, you know, before you go to battle, and Theo's there. He's just like, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking like, how funny is this dude? And I'm like, oh, what's up, Theo? You know, yeah. And then I got Davison, you know, the God of War, like ready to go. I'm like, snap back into it. So little things that you have to like, you know, just kind of revert or do.
Bro, I used to hate sharing locker rooms with people. We did that in Pride. We shared a locker room with a bunch of people. In K1, they had a bunch of different people. It's all different energies. But UFC, I don't remember sharing locker rooms with a lot of different people. But I used to hate it.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird. Different energies in there because certain people approach fights different.
Some people
ways.
are crying. Some are like, oh,
Crying
yeah,
before a fight?
You'd be surprised, dude.
Wow.
I won't name some of the people.
Yeah,
I looked at this one kid. It was my UFC debut, and he's had probably 6 or 7 fights, and I'm like, dude, this dude was crying. I'm like, bro, what are you doing, man? He's like, oh man, I'm just nervous, dude. I'm like, nervous, bro. You gotta have the best job in the world. Like, be thankful you go on the stage and perform, and you know. But everyone's different, you know.
And some people throw up before they
throw
fight.
up, you know.
You ever throw up before a fight?
No. But I remember one time I was real nervous, and I put my mouthpiece in. Then I'm like,
oh yeah, it's all dry. I can wet it down.
Yeah, I think that was nerves though. It make you
I don't want to say it, but did someone tell us that Tito Ortiz used to throw it before every
I'm
fight?
not, hey, Tito's my brother. I'm not
Because you
talking.
told me that one time on a fight.
No, I
on a
didn't.
podcast.
No,
You
I
said
didn't. I didn't say that. Tito used to throw up in training.
Oh, in training. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen a UFC fighter do before a fight? You don't have to say his name.
For a UFC fight?
I'm not going against my comrades. I see all
No,
fighters
but-
as comrades. You
but-
trying to get me to talk shit
No,
about
but
my brother
didn't-
Tito and shit.
Oh, is this crazy? The Tito story? You got
No,
it?
I'm not saying shit about Tito.
I love Tito.
No, I'm just wondering because there is a bunch of stories that I've heard from in the back, like people training.
Yeah, but fighters, they, like
I
I
had,
said,
I had a pretty crazy one, man. I mean, not crazy, but like I ended up having sex the day that I fought Cruz in the morning. Yeah.
the morning of the
The
fight.
morning of the fight, yeah. I couldn't control. I was like, oh, yeah. I'm like
in the back room on the mats.
no.
Oh,
Yeah.
the morning of the fight.
morning of
Yeah,
the- Well, I thought you're not supposed to have sex
send-off.
before a
Oh,
fight.
just when you're 25, you don't care.
You
know what I
sent-
mean?
Did it make your legs weak? Did you?
No, I felt great. That was my first 5-round fight. You know what I mean? Like I kind of felt it after the second round. I was like, damn, we got 3 more rounds to go, and then got that second wind. You know, I was like, I got that second wind.
Yeah.
But I usually take like the second round for me, kind of like, whoa, I'm still filling it out because like obviously if you got to pace
Yeah.
yourself.
I always felt guilty, like if I
Really?
had sex, like close up to the fight. You know, when I was fighting in Japan, living out here, I didn't have no girls out here. you
Yeah.
know, so I wouldn't get shit until I got to Japan.
Yeah, oh,
so I just get like
sloppy, huh?
well, I had stuff over there. You know?
Oh, you
I
had-
used to go, yeah,
yeah.
I used to go there
Structure.
6 times a year.
Oh, so you had good structure in
all
Japan.
Oh yeah, but I'm living in
Routine,
Orange
right?
County. I had no girlfriends here, but I would have girlfriends in Japan. But I just get a BJ before my fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
You get a little BJ before your fight?
yeah, like the night
in the
before.
back?
Oh, night before.
The night before.
Oh, not at the arena.
No.
Have you ever brought a girl to the arena with you?
No, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I
Is
never-
that a no-no for fighters? Like bringing your chick with you and
I don't like to see.
I
it.
don't.
Distracting?
Well, you talking about like walking into the arena?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't like
hey, because
that.
I'm with my boys. We're going to not war, but we're going to
wartime.
battle. Yeah, it's time to go to
yes,
battle.
some of you guys, when I say you guys, I say professional UFC fighters that have won the belt look at fighting like straight gladiators.
Yeah.
And then we've heard from some guys who've come on here and they're just like, no, it is what it is. Like it's a paycheck. I go there, I go home.
Well, that's them being like thinking it's a sport. Like I'm just winning. No, I'm not ever. You ever just try to win a fight, Jack?
Man,
I mean, win, but like you're trying to go in there.
I'm-
If you could knock a dude out,
Yeah.
and not go the full distance, that's what you're doing. So
Yeah.
that's my objective.
Yeah, yeah.
Why would I want to be there longer than I have
Yeah.
to be?
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
not
want to
getting
be
paid
here
by
the
the
first
second.
time. Yeah, I don't want to be here in the first place.
Yeah, I think that's why everybody gravitates to guys like you, guys like Rampage. You guys are like entertainers, but at the same time, you're going in there for like you're saying for war. I don't want to say war and disrespect
Just say
war,
battle. Yeah, battle.
but battle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
battle.
Like you guys are going in for battle, and you're going in there to get blood.
I don't
like
say-
it's crazy to me, dude.
I don't really say much publicly, but when I see like boxers or fighters walking into the arena holding their girlfriend's hands and stuff, and she's going backstage, I'm like, man, what these guys doing? I never brought my kids to any of my fights. I never brought my girlfriend.
Yeah.
you know.
Kai's been the one fight. It
Really?
was, when I fought Brian Kelleher.
Yeah. I mean, great kid.
But I didn't bring
Yeah.
my mom and
Your family,
girl,
yeah.
and, like family was with them.
Great
so.
dad, great kid. Really, really focused on the scheduling and making sure that he could come here to make sure his son could be a part of the experience and everything. What a phenomenal father. One thing I want to talk about is you've been known to have the top most crisp boxing in UFC history. It's phenomenal how good your striking is, your speed. What do you think about this battle of two strikers? We see Ilya, we see Max. They're going to be going to battle at UFC 308. That's 10/26, I think October 26th,
Abu
something
Dhabi?
like that. Yeah.
That's Abu Dhabi.
So
That's-
what do you think about those two guys in their boxing?
Man, Ilya has really surprised me a lot. I think he's sharp, clean, his body work, his composure inside there, you know, was phenomenal when he fought Emmett. You know, I know how tough Emmett is, and he's a good, solid boxer, hard to put away, tough as nails. And you see in that fight, it was like, wow, like Ilya really put it on him. With Max, I think Max is, you know, hitting that stride again. You know, like he just had that big win over Gaethje. You know, never one's ever knocked Gaethje out. You know, in that kind of fashion.
Oh, he had never been knocked out before?
No,
Not like that.
not out cold.
No,
Not
he's
that.
been like
Yeah.
TKO.
I think
or something.
TKO,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Even at TKO, he's still like, you know, I
Yeah.
think who was it?
Yeah.
Eddie Alvarez, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, that's a tough one.
But do you think Max?
I don't think Max. I love Max to death. I don't think he mixes it enough for mixed martial arts. You know, he's boxing heavy. Doesn't throw too many kicks. You look at the Volkanovski fights.
Yeah.
He didn't really mix it together. You know what I mean? The MMA together.
Yeah.
You know, I thought those fights were super close. He won some of them. You know, they gave him the bulk. But with Illy, dude, he wrestles, he grapples. You know, he does it all. He kicks. But I'm excited to see, like, Max is so long, so rangy, super tough. Got a granite chin, tough Hawaiian. That's a fight that I'm pretty intrigued by.
Yeah.
Kind of see the outcome, see how it unravels. I think you'll see, you know, if later in the rounds, 3rd, 4th round, 5th round, championship rounds are gonna really, I think, pay off for maybe Max. But Illy starts high, you know what I mean? He has a high pace. Seeing how he can carry that over, because, you know, Max got good cardio. He's been in those 5-round wars, you know, fights, and prevailed so many times. I think that's about it, too, experience with 2 high-level fighters. Who has the most experience? Who has the best camps? Who comes in healthiest? I think that's all plays a huge part of, you know, who's going to win the fight.
Yeah. What do you think about Max? Max's striking's insane, but Ilya's probably, I would say, top boxing in the UFC right now. I mean, from what I've heard from other fighters, from what I've personally seen, and I'm not saying I'm an expert, but his boxing looks insane. What do you think is going to happen between those 2 guys?
Man, it'll be hard for me to bet against Max after his last performance.
100%.
Yeah. He's tough, dude.
He's tough.
He's tough. He's got this aura to him right now that I think even a fighter knows, like, damn, if you could do that to Gaethje and Gaethje couldn't kind of knock you off your stool, then I feel like that type of, even as a fighter, even when we're done with these podcasts, when we talk to fighters, like, even fighters have this sense of other fighters of, like, yeah, this guy's in a moment right now, like you just mentioned.
Right. And with Gaethje, too, he's developed a lot of, I'd say, higher IQ fighting. You know, his last few fights, man, he really impressed me.
Yeah.
He fought that Azerbaijan kid. I forget his name right now. That was a tough fight. I mean, he looked really good in there. You know, other fights where he had, you know, Poirier, knocked Poirier out. So he was on his high horse too. He was, you know, evolving so much, and then, you know, for Max to do that, look good in the last 10 seconds of the fight.
How's he been since that fight? I haven't heard much of
Gaethje? Yeah, I've seen a lot of. I checked out on him because actually we were in the hospital together. I ended up going to the hospital. I had vertigo super bad in that last fight.
After the Figgy fight?
Man, for like 2 months, I had to go to UPMC.
Wow.
No way.
I was in the hospital. Right after the fight, man, I was throwing up. Like, when I got taken down, I couldn't move. Like, I was just spinning the whole time. I don't know. I didn't get hit where it was a concussive blow. Sparring, I had the best camp. You know, just.
They ever figure out what caused it?
I had some crystals out of the ears, so, like, just, you know, when they go, it starts to, you know, the spin. That's what I had in 2012.
Yeah.
I had the hand. I went to the same doctor, and actually, the UFC Performance Institute brought his whole team, Dr. Mickey Collins, out and did a whole, you know, seminar for the PTs to kind of like regulate concussion, like symptoms and what to do if you have some, because there's different kind of concussions, you know, that can cause it. I don't know if mine was a weight cut, I was sick a little bit before the fight, so I could all contribute, but didn't get hit to where I was like, oh shit, that's concussive, you know. But who knows? You can get hit minimum and can throw the crystals out. So, you know, thankful that I got that corrected, feeling good, sparring's going good, and just, you know, it happens. I went back to that vestibular therapy. So your eyes, you have to do a bunch of eye strengthening, you know, vestibular stuff where you're like shaking your head and getting yourself dizzy, and then like focusing on like a letter. So it's tough, but it sucks. But you know, so we were in there, and he was fine that night. I mean, they cleared him before they cleared me. You know, so I'm like, what? How did he get cleared? I'm still here. I was there till like early hours in the morning. I just wanted to go home, but I was so damn sick. Like, every time I was there going to clear me, I'm just throwing up. And it happened like that for a while. I mean, the Heather Linden and the doctors at the PI were working on me for about 2 months, and finally I flew over to the UPMC because I haven't been there since 2012. So I lost his contact email. I found an old email and messaged him out. And they took care of me, gave me his number, said, any of this happens, you know, beforehand. I'm like, what happened in the fight? So I don't really know what caused it. You know, we were going the process of elimination, and to do things before, and the little things we can do in camp that'll help out. But
it's scary, huh?
It sucks.
Because you don't know how long you're going to have it.
Yeah, every time I kept, you know, I was like, I'm going to close my eyes. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to close my eyes. And they put like 30 extra lights in there. So I don't know if it was light sensitive too. That was why it was so, just kept spinning. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm not going to, he's going to elbow the shit out of me. You know what I mean? Because he was on top of me. He kept saying, come on, Koji. Come on, Koji. Listen. I'm like, bro, like, if I stop spinning, man, I'm kicking your ass. You know, I didn't quit spinning.
He's yelling at you when he was on
He's
top?
like, come on, Koji. Like, I'm like, bro, I couldn't move. Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, I enjoy that kid. Like
Yeah.
he's a tough fighter. But I mean, I felt good in that fight until
Yeah.
that shit happened. But it was out of my control, and he capitalized. It was like when he took the back, I was like, I didn't even know where I was at. Like I just kind of like, I usually throw the hooks off. Watch it back a little. I usually throw the hooks off, fight the hands. But I was like, fuck, man, like it is what it is.
You look great. As we're coming towards the end of this podcast, you look in shape. You're ready to fight still. You still love it.
Yep.
Obviously, you still have the heart for it. How many more years of fighting do you think you have left in you?
Man, Lord willing, I'd say 5 to 8. I got to get on that. Maybe Rampage can hook me up with some of his Hollywood, getting some movies, getting some bike movies or something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Something, to dabble into that. Just find something else I'm passionate about that I can love, that I can wake up every day and enjoy to go to do. But for right now, man, I love the fighting. I still have a lot of fight left in me.
Yeah.
Still a dog in here. So just looking forward, one fight at a time, and just kind of go from there.
Now, hear me out. No Love Motorcycle Gang.
Gang, there we go.
Why gang?
Club.
There we go.
Club. Motorcycle Club.
That's nice.
We got the Ohio Gorillas going on. It's a little
What's
riding
that?
club. Ohio Gorillas Riding Club. Yeah,
Where's
it's
that
on
at?
MC. It's in Ohio, New Philadelphia. So it's a lot of a lot of my friends I grew up with. A lot of them are ex-military. A lot of them are recovering addicts. So we do a lot of like charity events, poker rides.
Oh,
for,
amazing.
So you do ride.
So you do
yeah.
right.
I ride every
See,
day.
I told you should be in a more. I love this.
Yeah.
I
Check
told
this
you
out.
should be riding a motorcycle.
I ride. So my son literally cries if I don't take him on the motorcycle to school.
Wow.
Like we load up to go to school, and he goes to a nice private school. So
Good dad.
yeah, he loves it, bro.
You take him on a bagger. On a
Yeah, I got a
street bike?
bagger, and
Yeah.
I got a little. I bought a tour pack for him, so he just,
Oh,
he
wow.
just kicks back, and everybody we drive by, he's waving to. He's peace. I told him like, hey, you say hi to the motorcycle, you do the peace sign. So he trips out every time he sees a motorcycle. He's like, they wave, Dad, they wave back, And it's usually the street bikes that don't do it,
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, Dad, why didn't it wave? I'm like, well, it's
It's a different culture.
a different culture. Yeah. So I can't explain, but he loves to ride. And we went last night. We met a rep for Indian,
Nice.
with Twitch and
Nice.
Kerry. So he's like, let's rip this thing up. The guy started up. Kai's pretty outgoing with that. Grabs the throttle, rah, 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 ripping it up. I'm like, dude, he wanted to go ride. He's all upset that he couldn't because he obviously didn't have a helmet. But
See,
Yeah, Twitch
Yeah.
rides an Indian too, a bagger. I see. I told
Sick
you
one.
should be in a motorcycle club. I love
Motorcycle
this.
club.
You should be doing a
He
motorcycle.
should start
club.
his own
You
motorcycle
should
club.
do your own motorcycle club.
And no love, but you show a lot of love.
No
like
Love
charity.
Club.
Yeah, do some charity,
No
yeah.
Love
Yeah,
Club,
that's
and
what we
we'll
do.
put the Excalibur with the eye as the
Excalibur.
logo. What is the sword? Can we talk about that?
just I got it in July. I was
Is that
getting my
dagger or sword?
Yeah, dagger, sword. I was getting my armpit tattooed, right? So I had this stencil on. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get it. But I'm telling you, the armpit tattoo was like pretty.
You were getting an armpit
Yeah, I
tattoo?
got my armpit done. Yeah, I got my.
Oh,
armpit.
you were getting your actual
So I was
armpit.
like, yeah, and I had this stencil on. I'm like, I might get it. But it was starting to hurt a little bit. I was like, hey, man, let's jump to the face. So we did the face, and then we back to the armpit. So I got to finish the armpit. It's going across the chest and do the other armpit. Yeah.
You gonna get a face tattoo this year?
No, I'm never. I'm
What do you
never-
mean?
No, I'm
Yes, you
never.
did. You told me you were gonna get
No,
one.
you
Dude,
can't.
my mom was pissed.
No.
She was pissed.
Oh, she was pissed. My brother has a tattoo on his face too. I'm like, well, Zach has a tattoo. She goes, well, you have an image to uphold. I'm like,
That is your image.
yeah. So I was just, I'm like,
Any more face tattoos? Or we
No.
Is
Yeah,
your
my-
brother a biker as well?
Yeah, he bikes too. Yeah. We
Is
all
he part
bike.
of the club?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's
Can me and Rampage join the club?
dude, anytime. Yeah,
Oh,
come on,
let's
let's
make
go.
leather jackets, vests, and we'll do what? I want Rampage in leather pants and a leather vest and a leather hat. I wanted to say Cody No Love Club.
He's got to be the road captain. He's got to be he's the leader.
Wait, oh yeah, we'll put you at
He's
the
the
front.
leader. Yeah,
He'll
he's
do-
blocking the traffic.
Can I
ready
be
to
in the
go.
little cart next to your bike?
No, if
So
he's,
you
if
drive
he's
the
in the
bike?
club, I'm not joining.
No, you drive the bike
No,
and I'll be in the
no.
little thing next to it. What do you call that? The little
sidecar?
dog cart.
The
Yeah.
sidecar?
I want to be in the side cart.
No.
Why not?
If you join the club, I'm not joining.
You drive the bike, I go in the side cart. Or I'll drive the bike, you go in the side cart.
No, I
Why?
can't fit in the damn side car.
Then me and him could be in like the
It's for the little guys, sidecar, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The little guys.
What are the three? We could do the three
trike.
wheelers.
The trike.
trike?
Yeah, we'll do
No.
one of those.
No.
Nothing.
No.
I think those are dangerous, bro. I feel like those.
The golf cart.
Oh, they get
I
too,
think
huh?
so.
But listen, if you know, I'll go riding with you. You want to ride? Let's go get
No,
Triumph.
I'm scared.
We'll
Hey,
call Twitch.
I'm
We'll
scared.
call him.
Yeah. I'm scared
Get a
of the
custom
street
Jackson
Triumph.
Indian bike.
Yeah,
There we
let's
go.
do.
I'm scared of the street
Indian
bikes.
bikes.
Indians, bro. That's
Oh,
where
let's
it's
go.
at.
Let's go
Everyone's
get the
switching
Indian
over.
bikes.
No.
What do you mean,
Customize
no?
it.
No,
Let's
if
go
you
get
in
Indian
the club,
bikes.
I'm not joining.
Me, you, Cody, and Twitch on the Indian bikes.
You never worked with Harley? They never.
No,
never.
No. You know, back when I was fighting in Pride, we had to sign a contract.
You couldn't ride?
We couldn't
Oh,
even-
really?
Yeah, we couldn't even own a bike.
What do you mean?
In our contract, we couldn't own a bike.
Well, that's crazy. I heard NBA doing that. I never heard that in the UFC.
We had when Harley was a sponsor for the UFC. that's when they got me a bike. They got me a Harley.
Harley
That's
just
when you
gave
started riding? Or
Well,
you-
I've always ridden,
Oh, okay.
but they gave me one. So I'm like, I sold one and I wanted to get the bagger, so I ended up getting a Street Glide. And then I was like, I'll make this call, get the bike. And it was like 3 or 4 months. And I'm not one to ask for shit. So we did our next meeting before the fight. And he's like, hey, man, that Harley ever come through? And I'm like, I never got it, man. He's like, why didn't you say something? I'm like, it's not a big deal. It was at the store the next day. He said, go pick your bike up. And I was like,
Wow.
damn, just like that. Yeah.
Dana.
So, yeah.
So you and Dana got a good relationship.
He's great. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I truly like Dana. He's,
Yeah.
it was a business relationship and the friendship, and you have,
That's good.
that's how it is. You can't be friends with everybody, or not say friends with everybody, but he's a business. He's a businessman. He runs, what he runs, and I get it too. I learned that at a young age, 25,
Yeah.
not knowing that kind of stuff, and that's why I have Ali, to do that side of it. I'm good friends with Dana, but Ali, when it comes down to negotiation, higher pay, certain
Respect.
kind of fights,
Yeah.
Well, I heard a rumor that you went to a fight one time and you thought you were going to fight at like 3 a.m, but it was actually 4 p.m. Or
Yep.
what is the rumor?
That was Ali. That was Madison Square actually when I fought TJ. I was like, hey, what time am I going to fight so I can prepare that week to get up and get ready? So he's like, I'm going to fight 3 a.m, brother. And I'm like, all right, cool. So Renzo Gracie has a phenomenal school right in the heart of New York. He's like, oh, brother, I'll open it up for you whenever. My janitors will be there. You have the key whenever you want. I'm like, all right, so we be sleeping the whole day. Well, not the whole day. Usually I was doing the media from 7 to 7. It was a lot of media, obviously being a champion, as Rampage can contest to. It's a lot, but that's what you signed up for, right? They tell you that, like, hey, like it's going to be a lot, but we believe in you. You
Worst
can do
part
it.
of it, though.
100%. You got a water load, weight cut. You're thinking of this fight, and so I would go there and go to the gym, and I'd get there at like 2. Start the workout about 3, wrap up, get warmed up, and next thing you know, I'm like, damn, like the day before the fight, you're fighting at 10. So the whole week, I was getting ready to go. And so I'm like, yeah, and Ali forgot that there was a 3-hour time difference from, because he was in Vegas to New York. So yeah, I would have fought at, around, 10, 11. I think we walked at like 10:30, and I'm like, so now I just called the UFC, like, what time am I walking? So that was great, talking about,
Yeah.
I was the first fight. I knew what time I'm fighting.
Yeah.
I walked at 3:15. I knew what time I was walking to the octagon. If you're second, third fight, you don't know. You can finish early, and next thing you know, hey, you're up in 15, but oh shit, hey, it's done. Production says you're walking in 3.
I hate that.
Oh, that's the worst. Because you got to take a shit, you got to piss, you got to do all this stuff that you don't think that you got to do before you have time, right?
Yeah.
If you got 30 minutes, you got 30 minutes. When they say, hey, you got 5 minutes, you're like, oh shit, I don't know. Oh, I guess we're fighting, Let me get a little lung blowout before we go, because you go back in that arena, out of the locker room, super cold, so you got to keep your sweat going.
I feel like I was never warmed up.
Never.
For any
I
of
think
my
that's
fights.
why the first round, so like it took me like halfway to the second round to be like, all right. And same thing with wrestling. When I was younger, I never warmed up. My coach was always old school, warm up till you're sweating and this, that. I just never liked that. I'm like, I'd rather catch my second, and then put it on. Like keep it kind of similar, closer fight, feeling them out, and then second. That's when you get tired, that's when the real fight happens. Like that's who you see what you're made of, and your adversary. If they're just willing to push that pace when they're tired. So same thing. I don't want to, dump myself in the warm up.
Yeah. It's been incredible to have you here on the podcast. You are literally the most requested guest of the year. And you know what? I do say that a lot to everybody at home. I do say that a lot.
So you're just not making me feel special?
But this guy, no, I'm about to make you feel even more special. This guy actually is probably the most requested guest we get. And I do say that a lot because I like all the guests to feel good. But dude, the MMA community, the fans, what you've done for the sport, what you've done for the game in terms of the grit and kind of the passion, throwing these huge rivalries on and these crazy buildups and then amazing performances, winning the belt. It's like second to none, bro. Like you really are the definition of what a fighter is in terms of like the charisma, the energy, and what we get as fans. I'm a fan, he's a champion. He's not a fan, but
I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
But I'm a fan, but what I'm trying to mean is like, for me, not you guys, it's what we love about MMA. It's why I do the podcast. It's why I put so much money into this thing, is because I love MMA. And it's because of guys like you. So I hope you get all the respect you need from the UFC and your new contract negotiations.
Yeah, let's go.
Hope you get the bread you want.
Just so you know, I'm always a fan of fighters like this.
Yeah.
Like some of the fighters, I'm not going to lie, their fighting style. I'm like, I'm not a
same.
fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't tune in. I'll just, do something. Go get a snack during that fight.
That's what he does.
Yeah, for sure.
You got a girl sitting next to him. He's like, we going to eat during this fight.
Yeah.
You turn around, talk to the girl. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with his fighting style? I don't like the way he fights.
Just not exciting.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
No
saying.
disrespect.
Nope, no. I respect everybody gets in there, but I'm not going to sit there and watch them.
Right,
Yeah.
right. They're all Conrads to
Yep.
me. We're all Conrads.
And good luck. I know your fight was announced this morning. So this podcast will be coming out here pretty soon in the next week or so. So good luck on that fight. If you need anything for the camp, you come let us know. Make sure you guys go and check out this podcast. Make sure you guys leave a comment. Tell us who you guys want to see next. Cody's rocking the brand new JX1 in gold with the black illustrious loom dial. I got the silver with the white illustrious loom dial, and Rampage has got the
That's
silver
same.
black two-tone. Yep, same thing.
Same thing.
And we just dropped our brand new Cuban 8s and Cuban 5mm. So we appreciate everybody's support. Make sure you guys check out the brand new watch collection that we're about to drop. It is the most complete watch for men. Took a lot of time, over a year worth of design. So Cody, we appreciate you. Rampage Jackson, congrats on making it on time today. We appreciate you. And this is the Jackson Podcast.